Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me.
For facial performance, I start with the eyes by hitting keep poses that communicates the desired ideas. For the mouth, I start with the jaw pass, making sure I am getting the timing correct. Hi everyone, welcome to Alex on Story and this facial performance demo. I'll be using the animation I did from the Pose to Pose workflow tutorial. If you have not seen that video, make sure to check it out. I'll blow away the facial animation and we'll do it together. I'll be using two animation workflows for this tutorial. Pose to Pose for the eyes and layered for the mouth. Once your body animation is done, I move on to the face. Let's go ahead and start on the eyes together. I start with the expression, then add the blinks, and then the eye darts. Alright, so let's take a look at the scene first. Here we have the sprite character in the middle, in an environment that I put together once the animation was done. So that's the scene file we're starting off with. We're going to select that facial performance, those keys on the eyes and the mouth, delete them, reset the values, and we'll do that together. I'll also show you how I bring in the audio and set that up if you're new to my tutorials. Sprite is a character from the Blender movie Sprite Fright. I'll leave a link in the description to the Blender Studio website. Here you get access to their films, assets, and courses. It's a great value and you'll be supporting Blender directly. If you want to follow along with the audio clip that I'm using, I'll leave a link in the description to that as well. It'll be the third row on the right side. Everyone in this family hates me. You can download that and follow along. First thing I'm going to do is delete the facial animation. I'm going to select any part of the character rig, Control Tab to go into the pose mode. I'm going to hit N to bring up our properties. Under Cloud Rig tab, I'm going to show my facial controls and hide my FK and finger controls. Don't need those. I'm going to hit A to select all the controls. And here in my timeline, I'm going to hit A again, which selects all the keys, X, and deletes all the keys. So now if we play what we have, all that facial performance is gone. I'm going to go Alt-R, Alt-G, and it's going to reset the values of all the controls. And you can see that the eyebrows for this character, the default value is down there. I'm not worried about that. What I'm going to be worried about now is pose-to-pose communication of my eyes. I've completed the body animation and I'm happy with that. Now I'm focusing on the eyes. Same approach is going to be done as I did for the body. Pose to pose. So that means I'm going from one idea to another to another. And each idea I'm trying to communicate a feeling. Let's play the audio one more time.
Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me.
Everyone in this family hates me. This character is definitely more upset or angry at the end of this clip. So I'm going to show that in my expression, in my eye expression, to be more evil looking, more compressed, more angry. So that's definitely where I'm getting into. So I know my end posing for the eyes is going to be angrier. So that means at the beginning, to contrast that, I would like to have the eyes more open. So the advantage of this character is that there's a pose library. So if I hit N and I come up here to animation, you can see this character right now has these expressions available. Some hand poses as well, and mouth expressions. So pretty much all personal shots that I work on, I don't have this pose library. So this was a treat to find out. When you're in a studio, you do have access to a bunch of poses, and that saves the animator time. So I'm going to use some of this to save time posing the expression. But we're still working pose to pose. It's just that I'm not building the pose. So I'm going to select the default pose for now. Just double click that and you can see his facial performance updated. There's no animation. So let's take a look and see what expression I want for the eyes. I know by the end, hates me. It's going to be more angry. So maybe something like this expression here, or this one. Probably this one, it's more closed, hates me. So then for the beginning of the clip, something like this might be nice, or something like this. Something with more eyes, more whites of the eye showing, and the eyebrows not as down, not as evil looking. So let's double click on this. And all I'm doing is just examining what idea I think is going to look good at the beginning. And I'll make some adjustments to the pose. I kind of like this one a little better just because the eyebrows aren't coming in on top of the eye. So when we do get into the final facial performance, again, this is a pose, but a pose is an idea. And so when I get into the final idea for the facial performance, everything is closer together and more determined, more angry. So I like this expression a little better only because the eyebrows aren't touching. Okay, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to hit A, select all. I'm on frame 1 and hit I to insert a key. I'm going to make some facial adjustments to the pose. Remember, the pose is just an idea. And if I don't like the idea, I can reset the values and just try something else. So all I'm doing is setting 2 keys side by side, and I'm going to make an adjustment to the pose and flip between the 2 poses and see if my new idea is communicating more clearly the way I want. I'm not too worried right now about where the eyes are. The eyes are going to be somewhere screen right, just past camera, off screen. And maybe a little higher. He's talking to someone off screen and higher and taller than he is. But what I'm thinking is a nice starting facial pose is just more eye whites showing for the eye. So here we go. I'm going to select this bottom control and just pull those down. I'm also going to relax those eyebrows just a little bit. Cool. I'm going to hit A, select all, insert a key. So you can see just by me flipping back and forth over here, you can see that's the original pose that was done by the people at Blender, by the animators there. I'm just making a smaller adjustment. He's less angry. And I think this is a nicer area to go for this performance because then I have somewhere to build up to, somewhere more angry. So I'm going to go with that for now, even though it's a small change. And here's something I like to do in my body performance a lot. Here I made an adjustment and I like the new idea. What I can do is move forward a little bit, insert a key, and then this is a hold right here. And what I can do, select those 2 keys, hit V, and just go automatic. And you can see what happened to the eyes here. They opened up even more. And so I'm using the computer to overshoot. And here's what that looks like. Here's that first pose, second pose, and here's that hold, but now there's an overshoot. So the keys, or pardon me, the curves overshoot and go back into that original pose that I updated. So if I scrub on my timeline now, you can see the eyes opening up. And it's taken the information from this first pose and overshooting into the other pose. And I like to do that quite a lot. So I might even use frame 7 here. A to select all, insert a key, and now I've updated my pose even more. I'm going to go back to frame 2 and Control V, paste it. So I've made my facial adjustment and I'm happy with that. Cool, I'm going to delete those keys and I'm going to delete the original key. Now you can see the big change now. He's a little more upset, more angry, more devilish here. And here a little less, a little more neutral. Select that key, X, delete the frame. Cool, let's move on to our last pose. Hates me. Right in here, somewhere in here, he's going to hit that last expression. So I'm going to bring up my cloud rig and see what I think looks good. I've keyed that first pose. So now I'm in and around the end of the shot and I'm going to think about the expression that I want to hit here. And I'm thinking this expression is going to work well. I'm going to hit A, select all the controls, I to insert a key. And now I can scrub. And now I'm going into that last posing. So here's that first expression and last expression. 2 ideas, 2 extremes. And now I just got to work in the middle. And while he's up here, I think I'm going to have his eyes closed. Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me. So I'm going to close his eyes. And And it's not really a blink because it's an eye close, it's a shape. So I'm going to do one more quick animation example to show you how I do a blink in another scene file. I'm just going to insert a key. Perfect. And I'm going to work on a blink. And all I'm going to do is pull those eyelids down. And normally too, typically you'll have a control that has a blink preset that's defined. You can scrub that value and it can blink for you. So this rig, as far as I can tell, doesn't have it, which is okay. All we're going to do is pose it. Pose that idea of him closing his eyes. Do the same to the other side. Cool. I'm going to bring up the bottom eyelid just a tiny little bit. There we go. Not much. Awesome. Cool. So I have the eyelids in a blinking pose. There's a bit of crashing here, but I'm not too worried about it yet. I might even just pull that eye back over that few frames. But let's just pull down the eyebrows a little bit because it's part of the expression. And all I'm doing is communicating an idea. So I'm really going to pull those down. I'm going to go with that for now. A to select all. I to insert a key. Some of you have commented on past videos that you notice that I don't use the auto key. The auto key is down here. You can click that to enable it. And I haven't used the auto key now for a good year and a half. Before that, I've been using the auto key for about 15 years. And the reason I don't use it anymore is because I was working on a big project and the audio key was actually getting in the way of doing my job as camera artist. And so I didn't use it on that production and I kind of liked it. And now I don't use it. I find it allows me to be more mindful of what I'm actually animating and not get stuck on moving too many controls, knowing that the auto key is there to just record everything I do. Here I'm moving only what I think I need, and when I'm ready, I'll insert a key. So that's the reason I don't use it anymore, and who knows, in a handful of years I'll be back to using it again. But I don't find it slows me down. It might slow me down in the idea that I have to hit A, select all, hit I, insert a key, 2 buttons. But like I said, the mindset of not using it anymore, the auto key, I think actually saves time. That'll be interesting to do a comparison at a later time. Okay, so here's that expression. And now I have 3 key poses. They're quite spread apart, so it's very swimmy. What we have to do now with those 3 ideas is we have to introduce some holds. A hold is just me holding an idea for a longer period of time to allow the audience to read that idea, that expression. We do it in full body performance or acting performance, and we do it in facial animation as well. So really this shot has 3 expressions. It's this opening, and I might make this a little less happy. I might evil it up a little. Then it's this closed expression, and then finally it's this really mean expression at the end. So 3 ideas that I'm working with. I'm going to go back here and just make this a little more evil. Hit N, and I think I was using this one. Perfect. A to select all, insert a key, and I'm just going to split the difference. I'm going to select that key, G, move it over 1, and I'm going to just grab that medium point. A, insert a key, and that'll be my new first starting pose. Okay, let's create some holds so that we can read our expressions. I'm going to add a little pose change as well at the beginning. So really it's 4 expressions, but because it's so small, it's really just 3. So here's that little expression change that I'm going to add at the beginning. When he says everyone, I feel that when he says everyone, his eyebrows go up a little bit. Maybe his eyes expand a little bit as well. Everyone. So either at frame 7 or 9, I'm going to hit that expression change. So I'm just going to grab that key and move it over to 9. And I might even do it at frame 7. Perfect. I'm going to go back to frame 1, insert a key, and you can see that orange line between those 2 keys, that's the hold. So there's a key and another key, and the difference between them is nothing. It's the same. So that's why it's a hold. But I'm going to introduce a little small change. All I'm going to do is close the eyes a little bit, and he's going to get into that initial pose that I made. So just like that. Cool. Very subtle. This might even be a little too much. But all I'm doing is allowing my facial performance to get into the pose I originally wanted. A, insert a key, perfect. I'm going to go back over here, Control C, copy that key, and maybe go to frame 15 for now, Control V, paste it. So here's that hold. I'm holding that idea, that expression. So that's what's happening right here. You can see he's saying everyone, and those eyes open up just a little bit. And now I'm going to listen to the audio. He should be closing his eyes either around frame 23 or 21. I'm going to pick frame 21 for now. G, move that key. And now it needs another hold. So I'm going to select that key, Control C. Somewhere in here, he's going to still hold that pose, that idea, and Control V. So again, this is a hold now. It's just holding that idea. Cool? So I'm going to scrub a little bit, and that pose, that last idea, needs to happen sooner. So I'm just going to pull it, and now play with the timing. Maybe even frame 37. Cool, let's play what we have. Cool? So that idea is starting to take shape. We have 3 poses that all I'm doing is identifying what I think is communicating well. Once I did that, then I want to time it to the audio, create some holds so then that idea is reading clearly. And then already it's starting to play. Cool, so I think the pose is hitting a little hard, so I'm going to make sure this is auto-clamped. I'm also going to grab this key and go V and make it vector. Then I'm going to go insert a key, I, and I'm just going to grab this key, G, and move it over maybe 2 to 4 frames, something like this, V, auto-clamped. And it just is a little softer. Still some good timing, but it's a bit softer over here. A to select all my graph editor, period numpad, just a frame for it. And what I'm going to do is this key right here, I'm going to select that, and the handles could be pulled a bit more. So I'm going to select those handles, G to move them, X to lock them on that axis, and just pull the handles. By pulling the handles, they get into that pose sharper, but with that settle. And then I'm going to make this sharper, the timing. So this is frame 15 to 21. I'm going to make it 4 frames. I think it could hit on frame 19. So I'm going to select that, G, move it over. I'm going to make that vector so it hits harder, snappier. Cool. And what I'm going to do on this pose, change, this is an idea with a hold, another idea. What I'm going to do in this 4 frames is create a breakdown on the eyes. So I'm just going to hold those eyes open a bit longer, just like that. Insert a key. Cool. And I'm really going to delay those eyebrows. So I'm holding those eyes, the eyelids up longer, so it's snappier. And I'm going to come over 1 frame and just delay those eyebrows a bit. Just like that. Cool. So now it's more aggressive, it's snappier. And I'm going to add just a very soft settle right in here. I'm going to hit A, select all. That's that pose that we're getting into. Frame 19, I'm going to go over 1 frame, insert a key, come over here and select that last frame. And I'm going to hit G, 1, 2, V, auto clamp. Okay. Same thing like we did before. I'm going to select that key, use that key. I'm going to select those handles, G, X. I'm just going to pull those handles. So it's just a bit softer. It doesn't hit as hard. It's still aggressive, just not as hard. So I like it for the eyebrows. It's just softening the eyebrows a little, but I don't like it for the eyelids. So I'm going to select these controls here, 1 and 2, and maybe for this one I'm going to bring it back. I want those eyelids closed and shut. Cool, that looks great. Okay, so we're almost done with this expression. Let's move on to the last pose change for the eyes. So we're going from a closed idea to now this frowning, mean idea. Cool. I think what needs to happen is just that idea needs to be held longer. So I'm going to hit A, select all the controls, select that key, G, 1, 2, move it over. That's better. Maybe even 2 more frames. G, move it over. And then he opens his eyes. G hates me. I might even make it 2 frames. Make it really snappy. I'm going to go select that key, make it hit V and go vector. Make sure this is auto clamp, V, auto clamped. I'm just going to add a little breakdown, a little ease. So right in the middle, I'm going to go I, insert a key, select that key, the last one, G, 1, 2, V, auto clamp. And just like we did before, I'm going to pull those handles. And this time I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Hopefully we can see what's happening on the graph here. Okay. So we went from having this idea, this pose, which is this key right there, to this last key. So there's a pose change, and so those graphs are changing with it. And you can see this line here. It's just going from one idea right there, somewhere in there. It's going from one idea, and it's just moving up and going into that last idea. And by pulling this handle, G, X, all we're doing is making that tangent, that line, get into that last key quicker. But it's doing it more gradually. So that's what pulling the handles does. It just doesn't make it as floaty. It makes it a little snappier, but still with a moving hold. Now I'm going to select this key, and now I know which handles to select. It's this one right there. I'm going to hit G for move, X, and just pull those handles, something like that. And now I'm going to scrub. Cool, I like that. And, I can tell it's working. I'm just looking at that piece of flesh, this eyelid right there, in comparison to the eyebrow. And I could see it really just barely moving over 1 frame. So that's the subtlety there, the softness. Okay, let's play what we have.
Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me.
Nice and simple.
Everyone in this family hates me.
Awesome. So the eyes are done. Now we have to do the eye darts. There's a lot of life that happens and believability when you can nail the eyes and the screen direction of the eyes where it's looking off screen. And then the little eye darts we add. So we'll do that together now. So I'm going to select the eye controls now, hit Alt-R, Alt-G just to reset the values, insert a key, and I'm going to delete that information that we had from before. So I'm just going to work on the screen space where our character should be looking. So he's talking to someone taller than he, and just off screen, something like this, somewhere just off screen. Okay, insert a key. Somewhere in here I'm going to have an eye dart, maybe from frame 6 to frame 7. I'm going to insert a key on frame 6, go to frame 7, and just have a little eye dart. An eye dart is when the character, or us in real life, we look at different parts of the body and different parts of the face. And when we change where we look, we do it very quickly. So we can do it over one frame, that change. So from frame 6 to frame 7, I'm just going to make a little adjustment, and that adjustment is called an eye dart. Insert a key, and just barely he's looking up. So there's a little hold for the eyes now, and then he's looking up. And now he's going to take start going into his closed expression. And when he does, I'm going to adjust those eyes down. This is good. It feels like he's not looking up as much as he should. So he's got that little eye dart. Maybe we make that a little more pronounced. And then he starts to dip down somewhere around here with his body. I'm just gonna... This is a very subtle change just to keep his eyes up, and I don't want it to be that noticeable. He's gonna step down. He's still gonna look up. So all of this is very subtle adjustments. I still want the character to be looking up. Cool, he's starting to blink over here. So over one frame, I'm just going to start bringing those eyes down so they don't get lost. Cool. Now let's figure out this last expression here, this last look. Something like this is good. He's still somewhat looking up. Cool. I'm going to insert a key. So that I know for an eye dart is a good spot. Cool. So I'm going to get into that. Insert a key. And now as he gets out of his closed expression, I'm also going to bring those eyes down. So we're not just seeing whites. Insert a key. Cool. Pull that up a little, make that adjustment. And let's take a look.
Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me.
Awesome. The eye expression on this shot is done. We could add details, but as a blocking pass, I think this is great. I'm going to jump into another scene now and just show you how I would do an eye blink. That's the one thing that wasn't demonstrated in this example. And then we'll go back to this shot and do the mouth together.
It's scary up there. It's scary up there.
So here's that other shot that we're going to work on together so I can demo the eye blink. I'm going to select all here, and we're going to delete all the keys. Cool. Let's do this performance together on the eyes. I'm going to select this expression and we'll just key it. Everything selected, insert a key. And somewhere in here, just before the big action in the blink, we're in another expression. That's very similar to what we have now, except I can't see the eyebrows currently, and I would like to. So I'm just going to make a pose adjustment. Just pull down these eyelids here. Give a little more space to the pupil. Just building in that expression currently. And I want to see those eyebrows here. Cool, I'm going to go with that. A to select all, insert a key, and there is my pose change. And in my case, I'm just going to pull the key until the action starts. G, frame 11, we'll start blinking. Maybe even frame 9. But let's keep it frame 11 for now. And somewhere around frame 17, I want to be hitting my expression change. So all I have is frame 11 to frame 17, that's 6 frames. That's typically a good blocking the timing for me for a blink, from going from one expression to another. And I might even have a small expression change on this one. It's where he just scrunches down a little bit. So maybe frame 3, insert a key. It's frame 7, very small pose adjustment here. It's just closing down a little bit. It's not much. Cool. Insert a key. Select that, Control C, coming over here, Control V, that's my hold. And I do like that I can see the eyebrows even just a little bit. It's cool. Let's work on the blink here. It's scary up there. Awesome. So I'm going to select my 2 eyelid controls, the top ones. Go 2 frames from the start of that pose and just pull those down. Pull those eyelids down. And it's a quick 2-frame move down. Just make the adjustment you need to make it look good. Awesome. Perfect. Insert a key. And so we're going down over 2 frames and then we're going to hold 2 frames. And then he blinks. Cool. Over here, what I'm going to do is go make it vector. So now we're barely moving, and then it's a bigger move. Cool. Just going to adjust this, make it contact even better. Insert a key. And then we're coming out of this up. I'm going to select this key, make it vector. So it's coming out of that softer. So that takes care of the blocking for the eyes. I'm going to do a little bit of a blocking just on the eyebrows a little bit. Not much, but just bring them down a little bit. Just like that. Insert a key. Same thing, I'm going to select that key, V, and make it vector. Cool. I'm going to hit A, select all. And this pose, that frame, from 16 to 17 is very aggressive. Insert a key. Pull that last key, maybe to frame 21, 23, something like that. V, auto clamp. And now, just like we've done with the other settles, the way I do it is I select this tangent, hit G, X, and pull that handle. And now it's very soft. It gets there softer. Cool, let's play what we have. Cool. So that's the blink. And then what we can do to finish this performance with the eyes on this shot, it's scary up there. On that last move, he goes there. His body goes up. I can also then just open the eyes more. There. Maybe on frame 29, insert a key. There. Maybe frame 35, he finishes that move. And really it's just the eyes opening up even a little more. Cool. There. Cool. And then just like before I would do the eye darts, it's scary up there and looking here. I like the expression here, so I'm going to keep that somewhere here. But at the beginning, our character could be looking down to himself, thinking to himself. Control C. Somewhere in here we can add another eye dart. And it's just showing that he's thinking. What we can have here as the eye blink starts to happen, we can start to hint that he's wanting to look up with his eyes. Here, where there's the whites, I'm just going to pull those eyes down. And now we already have the location of the eyes, so all we have to do is pull that up. Insert a key, and I'm just going to make a small adjustment here. Cool. So this second example gives you an idea of how I approach the blink, a generic blink. Awesome. Let's go back to the other shot and do a pass on the mouth.
Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me.
I realized I didn't show you how I brought in the audio, so I'll do that now. So let me get rid of this window. Join areas. Perfect. So what I like to do is bring it on the bottom area here. So I'm going to go right click and I'm going to say horizontal split and just add a window down here. I'll bring it up so we can see better. I'm going to change this to our movie sequencer, and I have a hotkey to go in and out of windows. If you want, you can check out my intro to Blender, and I show you how you can set the hotkeys to do this exact thing. Let's delete this audio and bring it in together. Cool. So what I like to do is just drag my audio file into my scene, just like that. So here's that audio file, and you can move it around. If we hit N, we can show the waveform, which I love. And when you move your audio clip, you can see you get numbers on your bottom left corner and bottom right corner. And what I like to do is just drag it until it says 1. Then I know I'm good. I'll just drag it to the first channel there. Perfect. And now it's set up. And this information I don't need. So I'm just going to hover over it over here and pull that over. And all I'm going to do now is frame for that audio clip there. Perfect. So that's how I bring in the audio, and that's how I set it up in my Blender file. And how you can hear the audio when you're scrubbing is you got to come to playback and just check on scrubbing for audio. And now you can hear your audio. So let's do the mouth now together. And I'm going to go back to my cloud rig, to my layers, and I'm just going to turn off this secondary control and just work with the primary mouth controls. We're going to keep it simple. So let's listen to the audio together.
Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me.
First thing we want to do is come up with a pose that just helps us get into the mood of the audio, of the personality for that character.
Everyone in this family hates me.
Cool. Same thing like before. Thankfully with this character, we have some poses built in. Cool. Something like this looks good, that expression. So I think I might go with something like this here. So I'm just going to double click that, and here's his mouth. Cool, so there's the expression on the mouth. I'm going to make some adjustments, make it more neutral, but it's a nice starting off place. So with that pose at the beginning, same idea. I'm going to go over one frame and just make adjustments. And if I like it, then I know I'm on the right track. If not, I'll just redo it. Perfect. So there's the pose change. I really went more neutral, big time. And so somewhere in that middle is going to be the start of my mouth shape. So I'm not quite sure yet. What I found works really well to do mouth is just to record yourself saying the audio. And then what we're going to do is take that jaw control and time it out here. So we're looking for a starting pose on the mouth. So we're going to find that somewhere between this pose and this pose. I'm not too worried about it. Then what we're going to do is do a jaw pass. Find the timing of the whole dialogue. Once we're happy with the timing of the way the jaw is moving, then we're going to work on the corners. And just those two things alone really helps. For the longest time, lip sync has been my weakest part of my animation skill set. So when I started recording myself and actually seeing the timing of my jaw, and then essentially copying that in a layered form and just focusing on that one jaw control, I found a lot of success, and in a simple way, in a way that's easy to do nicely and quickly. So hopefully this works for you. First, let's just finish this pose idea. I'm going to select this G, move it over one, and I'll probably go with something like this. He's not full crazy mad at the beginning anyways, but he's showing some teeth. So I'm just going to go with this. Insert a key. I'll get rid, we'll keep that one. Maybe we'll keep the pose. So just move this off to the side for now. Both of these. So you can see how we can save ideas, but that it's not played in our animation currently. Okay, so let me show you the video that I recorded of myself saying this audio. Here we are in DaVinci, and I like to bring my clip that I recorded of the audio in here and the project file set to 24 frames so I can scrub accurately and get the timing of my jaw. That's what I'm after. I also can see the shape that my mouth is in, so I can use that as a guide as well. I can see that the starting pose of my mouth is slightly opened. And as I scrub the timeline, I can see when my mouth opens and when it closes and in what shape I get into. So this allows me to do my lip syncs quicker and with a higher end result. So give this a try, and hopefully you'll notice improvements in your lip sync as well. Awesome. In here, so I'm going to select the jaw control, and all we're going to do is a layered approach where we're focusing on one control and making sure that one control is hitting the quality we want before we move to the corners of the mouth. So I've selected that jaw control, and all we're going to do is up and down. That's it. And I'm going to follow the timing of my recording. So right around here, we had an open mouth to begin with. So I'm going to do that just a little bit. Something like that. Perfect. It's a bit of a hold, so I'm going to do that. Here we had 2 frames. Cool. And the nice thing about just this blocking method, this layered first pass, is if I don't like it, I can delete it and do it again. And I didn't spend much time, so I really like that. And then in 2 frames, we're back. Cool. Jaw's closed. I'm going to make that vector just to keep that there longer, that open shape longer. And I'm going to go back to my DaVinci, and all I'm doing is copying the timing. So you can see there's a lot of closed shapes. So family, I'm just going to go right to family. I'm not going to go down quite 100% yet. Just open that a little, and we're going to cushion it to that every one. I'm going to come down more, every one. Cool, I'm going to key that there, every one. Open it a little bit on one, just very slightly. In this family. Cool, insert a key. Really open that up now. Fam. Nice and big. Cool. Close that. Family. Same thing, vector. Opens a little bit. Family. Hates. Hates. Cool. Hates. We're holding this down. Hates me. Cool, let's play what we have.
Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me.
Cool, so there's the first pass of the jaw.
Everyone in this family hates me.
And all I'm going to do is keep finessing that first pass until I'm happy with the timing. Then what we're going to do is grab that jaw control. And here's that control. We just went straight ahead adding what we thought was the ups and downs of that jaw movement. What we're going to do when you're happy with the animation is copy that curve. Select it, Control C. We're going to go over here to the corner mouth control. And we're going to paste that attribute, that value, and we're going to paste that curve value in a different axis, so then the timing is the same, but going in and out of the corner. So let's do that. What we're looking for is translate Y. You can see it goes in and out. So I'm going to make sure I insert a key, coming over here, and we're going to look for Y location. Shift H. And I could pose this so that every time I say a word, the corner should go in. But the timing was dictated by my jaw, so I'm just going to use that. So here we go. I'm going to select that curve and hit Control V. And here's that value that was on the jaw control. Cool. It's just too aggressive right now, so we can scale that down. And here's how we're going to scale this curve. I'm going to come on over here and go to 2D cursor. 2D cursor is this blue line down there. I'm going to hit S for scale and lock it on my Y translate, or pardon me, my Y axis. And just scale that down. A, select all, period numpad to frame for it. Cool, still too much. So let's keep going. S and Y. There we go. Cool, so it's getting better. So S and Y, we're going to scale it down even more. Perfect. Awesome. With this curve now, I'm going to Control C, select it, coming over here to the other corner. I'm going to delete all this. Cool. X. Make sure I have a key, at least one, on that curve. And I'm going to paste flip. I have it on a hotkey, paste flip. Cool. Where you can find that is under key and paste flipped. So here's one very quick way to start layering ideas on top of each other. Once you have the timing of the jaw, you can take that curve value, that information, and apply it to the corners of the mouth. It's a little too sharp, so I would soften that. But this gives you an idea how quickly, once you have that jaw going, how quickly you can at least get the corners moving. From here, you have to hit some of the shapes, some of the sound shapes. So like this one. What we would do is now select the mouth control. So I would sculpt this pose here. I'm just going to insert a key for now. And over here, we want to start going with a closed mouth shape. Everyone. And I'm going to take some of the detailed curves, some of the detailed controls, and start shaping that shape that I need. Cool. So I'm just going in and starting to hit shapes. The mouth is closed. One. We go back to a closed mouth shape, and in here, as the jaw is opening a little bit, I'm just going to shape the mouth into more of an ooh shape. Everyone. Just as it's starting to open. One. Just going to force that shape there. Just like this. Just start sculpting something. And at the beginning, you can be rough, and it's going to blend into the closed mouth shape. Cool, so let's take a look at what that looks like. Cool. So quite quickly, once you get that jaw going, then the corners of the mouth, you can just start then after your third pass, really. First pass is the jaw, second is the corners, third is starting to add shapes on top of that. The oohs, e's, the s, the f's. Just any of the sounds you think are important to hear. The next shape we want to hit is F, family. Here's what it looks like now. There is no F right there. So we're just going to get that lips together and try to shape that bottom lip a little bit inward to give it that F shape. And this, right around here, right around frame 18, and this family. Cool. I'm just going to insert a key here. So I'm going to close the lips more. bring them together, and try to curl that bottom lip. There is a control on here that we can hopefully get it to look good. Okay, so here's that F shape that I came up with. Just trying to describe that. Family. And then we have a closed mouth shape on the M. So that's all we're doing when we're now doing the lip sync, is that jaw pass, corners, and hitting those sounds that we hear, those letters. The last thing we want to think about is what the tongue does as well. On everyone, we would see the tongue there a little bit. Right now we don't. Right in here, everyone. So, very simple. All we have to do is add it in there. We're going to come on over here and just click the mouth control. And we can just pose it in place. Cool. So right in here, as the mouth opens, in this. So we just see that tongue in there. All I'm going to do is just pull it up. Not going to be too precious about it. But we just want to see it up there. In this. Awesome. So just 2 frames of the tongue sticking out there. Cool. So let's play what we have.
Everyone in this family hates me. 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 Everyone in this
Awesome.
family hates me.
So overall, I think the facial animation comes together quicker than does the body. Less controls. And working this way, I find should help you. Start with the eyes. Start with the poses that you need. The ideas you want to sell, and work pose to pose, one idea to another. And then move on to the mouth. With the mouth, start with the jaw. Just hit the timing of the jaw opening and closing. Take that control value, that value of the rotate, X, and you can copy and paste it to the corners of the mouth. Or you can just pose them. From there, once you're happy with that, you can move on to the shapes, the different shapes of your phrase, of the sentence, of the words your character's hitting. And then any small detail, like timing, small poses, the tongue. You can add that in afterwards as well. So hopefully this was helpful. And I think this is a good base for both the eyes and the mouth. So give it a try and let me know if you have success with this or if I was unclear in any area. So I hope you liked the demonstration. If you did, please like the video so that I know this content is helpful. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Everyone in this family hates me. Everyone in this family hates me. It's scary up there. It's scary up there. It's scary up there.